Yeah, yep. YouTube, what it do? It's your boy Ascension Capitals, man. AC with the cold heat, tapping back in with another video. And this camera's kind of blurry. Let me get y'all right. Oh, that kind of helped actually. Oh no, not really. All right, guys. So, welcome back to another video. Another Ascension recaps for you guys. Haven't really been posting much on the channel, but I definitely will get back into posting more vlogs, more breakdowns, more life in general. So yeah, guys, so today was NFP Friday and I got into some longs on this NFP Friday. So first, let's just get straight into it, shall we? Let's just waste no time. So pretty much what I'm looking at here on fiber is a bullish market because we have broken here, a 4-hour break of structure, putting in a new leg, which is between this high and this low. Now price has came back to the valid extreme point of interest inside of this level, inside of this 4-hour time frame level. So I can see that there's loads of liquidity being ran in this current moment in time, but I always want to pay attention to my 15-minute structure because that is my intraday structure, because I'm looking at the 15-minute more often than not. So even though I'm looking at every time frame, the 15-minute is my most important time frame because this is where I find my points of interest to, find those key areas to get into the market. So today on fiber, price ran deeper into this 4-hour level that already once got tapped into. So ideally prices came all the way back down to discounted pricing. So from this level, I wanted to see this wick, which was a news wick. If I'm being honest here, this was some news released during London session that tapped into this valid point of interest, and expecting buyers to step in control from this level, but that didn't necessarily happen. We just ran more liquidity inside of this 4-hour point of interest here. So we're sweeping all of these lows deeper into this point of interest. So ideally, when I'm seeing something like this, I want to see price definitely come to maybe not be that same week or maybe not even that same day, but eventually come to run this 4-hour high. So that is currently what I'm waiting on to see happen right now when it comes to fiber. So what I'm looking at now, let's zoom in a bit closer to the 15M. Now that I understand that the 4-hour is bullish, so I definitely want to see that bullish sentiment into the market to again take out those 4-hour highs, because the 4-hour is breaking highs and breaking structure to the upside. So also running some liquidity, got to keep that in mind. So running some liquidity into my level of interest that I want to see the market give me a reaction from, and we're going to see how that comes to play in the upcoming week of next week. So zooming into the 15-minute time frame, I want to see a shift in structure because we are inside of that 4-hour level, which is a very strong level according to my strategy. So let's label this out as my 4H point of interest. And now let's map out. Whoa, what happened to? I wonder, can you guys see that? That's kind of small. Okay, that's a little bigger. So yeah, in this time, the 15-minute is quite bearish. So ideally, I want to see a shift in structure from this 4-hour level. So if I'm mapping out 15-minute structure, I can see clear as day that the last 15-minute break was here. Dial this back a little bit more. The last 15-minute break of structure was here. So now my 15-minute swing high and swing low would between this high and this low. Again, still holding this 4-hour level. It hasn't wicked through it or anything, but we did have the deepest retracement of retracements into this 4-hour level. So let's just see how price comes and reacts on London Open on Friday, NFP Friday. So here we have my 15-minute swing high. But ideally, I want to see price come into a level, or I can look for confirmations to take buys. But as in the current moment, this isn't my session, but we're still mapping out price. So 15-minute swing high. So playing price forward, I want to see price ideally break that high, which did happen. So now this would be a change of character on the 15-minute, letting me know that, okay, the buyers are really in control here, because we've come in from this 4-hour level and we also had a shift in structure on the 15 minutes. So now I'm waiting for a 3-candle pullback to really signify that this is going to be the new 15-minute high, and we still have the 15-minute low down here, which still stays the same. Nothing changes about this low. It is still the low that's in control of the market, because this was the low responsible for putting in the impulse that that has breaking this high. So let's play price forward a little bit. So if we get a 3-candle pullback, and we indeed do, so now this would be my 15-minute swing high. So now, still not my session. I'm going to fast forward to around 8 o'clock, because that's when I typically start to look at the charts. 8 o'clock, 8:30. So boom. Now we have our new swing low. Let's map out this. Boom. New swing low. And this on the body. Come on, man. Work with me now. Map out this. Label this out as my new swing 15M swing low. So now I got the shift that I was looking for, and the 15-minute is bullish. So now things are starting to align. So now let's play price forward and see how price is reacting coming into 8 o'clock. So price is doing what it's doing, and I'm mapping out the premium and discount of this new range from swing low to swing high on the fib. So as I can see, at 8:30, which was NFP news release, price gave me a wick down in between the 0.5 and 0.618 of the new trading range, which these are, again, those discounted levels I want to see price reverse from. But I also have to keep in mind that Asia lows are still intact. So this is a pool of liquidity that could potentially still be taken out during today's session, or it could gravitate towards there at some point during the session, or it could just leave it, leave that pool of liquidity unfilled, because that tends to happen. Not every day. Not every day not every day Asia highs and Asia lows are being run. Sometimes it'll just run one side and leave the other intact, but that is a confluence that I often look for day in and day out. So, whoa, what happened to my fib? Whoa, I have to redraw that. Okay, so fib up from swing low to swing high. To make this a bit bigger. So boom, price wicked down in between these discounted levels, and at this moment in time, I am looking at the 1 minute, because prices came down into discounted levels. So I want to monitor what exactly price is going to do from these discounted levels, because if I get a shift that I'm looking for, this is when I'll be willing to look for longs in the market. So as you can see here, this was NFP candle here. So, and it also gave this break of structure here, which is kind of thick. So boom, it gave that break of structure there. So had a reaction. NFP opened. That's not the right thing I'm looking for. NFP opened, boom, it instantly had that retracement back up to that impulse responsible, which was the news release, and we're reacting from this level. So I can see either one of two things kind of happening from this level. Either we continue to break lower and to go into more discounted pricing, or we tend to break the high, and then this will be our change of character. And again, that is my realignment with price for my bias of the day, which is longs. So let's just play price out and see what happens forward, even though I know what happens, but for the sake of the recap. So price is kind of ranging in this level, and then around 9:21 we get a shift on the 1 minute, so indicating that those buyers are stepping back in control into this market. So let's label this as a change of character, because we were no longer selling off to the downside, but rather we had a shift in sentiment. So boom, now that I have this high, close above this high, again, I always want to wait for that 3 candle pullback formation to solidify that this is the new trading range. So play price forward a little bit, and we start to rally, which is a good sign as far as my daily bias. But let's just play further along and see where it goes. So 2 candle pullback, not 3 yet, and let's see what it does. But we end up breaking the high. So even though we didn't have, actually we did. So excuse me. So we had a 3 candle pullback here, and then we broke structure again to the upside. So didn't really get a significant pullback as I was hoping for price to pull back more into discounted levels to kind of tap into something down here and to run higher, but rather let me map out 1 minute structure so you can kind of see what I'm seeing as I was seeing what I was seeing. So we have this internal, and then we got this. So before price broke in this structure here, this was quite a big trading range between, all of this. But that tends to happen sometimes. Price doesn't always give you the pullback that you're looking for. So boom, we've broken structure to the upside again once more. So now this is when I am reevaluating. But I also have to remember 15-minute structure. So if I zoom out, let me look and see what exactly is happening. So boom, I have to keep in mind that we also have a break of structure on the 15-minute time frame. So again, that's one of those things that I tend to kind of get lost in the sauce on, always being zoomed into the 1 minute time frame, but you only want to use the 1 minute when it is necessary. When price has ran a liquidity pool, or has come into a level of interest for you to drop down to the 1 minute to look for confirmations. Sometimes I can find myself, being zoomed in for too long, and I'm really lost in structure and don't really know where I am, or I end up taking an unnecessary loss because, again, I'm lost in structure. So yeah, again, we had a break of structure on the 15-minute time frame. So, not that. So again, price is giving me what I'm looking for, which is that rally to the upside. But I have to keep in mind that we just ran a 15-minute high, so a reversal could be pending. So looking at, well, zooming back into the 1 minute time frame, I am still looking for longs at the current moment in time. Well, yeah, at this current moment in time, still looking for longs, as long as price doesn't give me a shift in structure. So let's play price forward and see what happens here. So price is doing what it's doing. Again, gave me a 2 candle pullback and another break. So price is breaking structure to the upside quite nicely, but again, keep in mind here, 15-minute high. That is pretty small, so let's make that a bit bigger. Oh, too big. 15-minute high. But we're still breaking structure to the upside. So as I'm seeing this, price is continuing to break structure to the upside, and we've already ran the 15-minute high. I'm expecting price to now give me some sort of pullback. So this is the level that is currently in control of the market on the 1 minute time frame. But if this level gets broken through or I see some sort of shift, then I'll reevaluate. So let's just kind of play price forward and see what's happening with that. So playing price forward here, boom, we get a pullback to this level of interest on the 1 minute, which is this 1 minute bullish order block, and play price forward, boom, we're kind of holding this level quite nicely. We're starting to get a reaction, and boom, I see that, okay, we didn't run that high, but we have swept it. So as we swept that high, I'm keeping an eye out for this low here, because if this low gets broken, then this will be an opportunity to get in for shorts, or a liquidity hunt, my liquidity hunt model, as I like to call it. Well, to take price lower, only temporarily, because again, we have broken a 15-minute high. So we're going to have to start to come in and rebalance that high, even though price could continue higher from just the 1 minute, but that's not exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for that retracement to come back into more discounted levels after breaking the 15-minute high. So if I can map out 15-minute structure here, or my 15-minute low here, I can already map out this level that kind of sticks out to me here. So this is the level that I'm expecting price to pull back into before I continue to look for longs again. So a pause on the longs because we're sweeping that 1 minute high in here, but this is ideally what I want to see happen on the 15-minute time frame. But zooming back into the 1 minute, let's see what price is doing in real time. So again, keeping an eye out for this low here, because this was the low that was responsible for, let's change that color so I can be more congruent, shall we? Congruency is what I like. Congruency. So this was the low that was responsible for taking out the liquidity of this high. So swept this high. Now I want to pay attention to the low to see what we're going to do, because if we end up, well, did the wrong thing. If we end up closing above this high, again, I will be more inclined to take buys, because I'm following current structure at the current time. And yeah, following current structure at the current time. Yeah, because I was looking at structure at the current time. So if prices closes above this high, then I'll be more willing to look for that continuation of longs to continue to take price up to the upside. So let's play price out and see what it was doing, or what I saw when I saw it. So playing price forward, I'm thinking, okay, what's price going to do here? It's actually going to, let me just kind of mark this out here, playing in between this level right now. So we're kind of ranging in the current time between this low down here and the high that just swept liquidity. So boom, fast playing price forward, I got the shift in structure. So boom, here we have a shift in structure. So I'll label this as my market structure shift. So now I can really say that, okay, I'm no longer favoring buys because I see a key reversal pattern, which is a sweep of a high, break of a low, and I see this pattern happens time and time again. And again, I'm looking for that pullback on the 15 minutes. So now that I have a close below this low, and I see that price is taking liquidity, now I'm ready to look for shorts in this market. So the last buy to sell, this is what I'm looking at and the current time. So if I were to map out my point of interest, it was I can't talk right now, it's getting kind of late, y'all. It was between this high, well, not this high, but this bullish candle, and the origin of kind of where we see the reversal happen. So this is kind of, if you kind of look closely, it's kind of a head and shoulders pattern between these three candles right here. But old me, I would have been trying to take super refined entries, but I've got out of that habit a long time ago, just because I found myself missing a lot of entries. But this is my level that I decided to get involved from, or wanted to get involved from, because again, this was the last buy to sell before that bearish sentiment stepped into the market. So took these group of candles rather than the last one, and I'm aware that price could even come to, this bigger level if I were to scale up a time frame and look at it on the 3 minute or the 5 minute. But looking at the 1 minute, I decided to go with these three candles here as my point of interest, or my bearish order block in this scenario, because this is where I'm going to execute my order. So boom, here we are. So now at this time, I'm setting my limit for, I wish I didn't delete it, because now I have to redraw it. So entry here, and my stop loss was about, I think it was about a 7.8 pip stop loss. Yeah, 7.8 pip stop loss, and usually targeting a 1 to 3. So considering that this is a liquidity hunt model, I don't like to leave runners in the scenario, because I've seen more often than not price will run for 1 to 3 and then it'll reverse. I mean, obviously that's not every scenario. Some scenarios price will continue to keep running, but 1 to 3 is more secure, and get those base hits more than anything. So 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, what I was looking for here. So now that my limit is set, I am patiently waiting to see if my order gets tagged in. So playing price out, it's doing what it's doing. We're starting to pull back into my entry level. We're kind of ranging out now, and eventually we got a ranging, and then boom, I get tagged in. So at this point in time, my order is live and we're executing, or we're been executed in the trade. So playing price forward is doing what it's doing. It starts to look nice off the first initial reaction. Then we come deep into drawdown. So at this level, well, at this point in time, I'm like, okay, we're like more than 75% in drawdown. It's like, fuck, I don't like to see that, but nevertheless, you still have to hold the trade because you have to accept the risk that you put on. So you got to keep in mind what you got into. Got to keep in mind why you got into the trade. But this is never convincing though when you see a price run deep into drawdown. But price does and can and will do that. So paying price forward, price is doing what it's doing. Super close to my SL, and that's measured how close that was actually, because I'm quite curious. About 1.3 pips away from stop loss, so we're getting very close to stop loss there. But again, we started to deliver. We started to come back into profit, pay price forward. Oh, price is doing what it's doing, and we started to deliver again. So I can see that we've broken, well, not quite yet, but we're sweeping this internal low here, but still isn't really significant. Still isn't significant because it isn't external structure. I wanted to see this low get broken before I start to reduce or remove any of my risk on this position. So playing price forward, it's doing what it's doing. Price is starting to deliver in favor. And here we go again with another deep pullback. So at this point in time, again, I'm thinking, okay, price isn't looking good, but we're going back into drawdown. But looking at structure fractally, we have broken this internal low here. So I'm just going to keep the trade on and see what it's doing because it's showing signs, but not the strongest of signs. So yeah, price pulls back up into drawdown quite again. So, and I'm also looking at this level here, seeing if price will give me a reaction from this level since we've had an internal break of structure. And let's just play price forward and see what it does. And we start to get a reaction from that level. So again, boom, price comes back into my break-even level, and we're back into profit. And this is when I reduce my stops. Well, not reduce my stops, but roll my stops to break even, rather, to, I think, if I can remember, it was 136.79 or 136.7875. I think it was right above this wick. 136.78. It was 136.78. So this is when I roll my stop to break even. So this is where my stop loss is now. About about 5 points in profit, covering, commissions and whatnot. So boom. Why can I make this line solid? All right. So yeah, officially risk is off of the table, and this is trades that I like. Even if price comes back and take me out of the market, I like to know that I'm covered with, not losing anything, because that's just the way that I like to trade. Some people don't like the break-even maneuver, but I see in a lot of scenarios as well, sometimes I wait for the second break of structure in price to roll my stop to break even, because sometimes price will come, mitigate another level, and then continue to rally in favor. And I've seen that a lot of times as well. So in scenarios like that, if I'm still waiting to roll my stop, I'll at least reduce my stop to maybe this high to, take less of a loss rather than price hitting my full stop loss. But in this scenario, I went ahead and rolled my stop to break even after the first initial break of the leg that put in the mitigation. So I always do it based off structure. So yeah, break even activated, and now we're just going to see if price can deliver to my target. So paying price forward, this was around 1106, and price starts doing what it's doing, giving me a pullback to this level, and I'm thinking price may gravitate to this level and give me another reaction. But again, that is highly likely because, again, we're just following structure, and price likes to move in that wave of break, retracement, retracement, expansion. So we're going to see what price does. So paying price forward, boom, we get another break, which is what I like to see to really know that, okay, the sellers really are in control at this current point in time. So yeah, we're running now quite nicely, and we're going to see what price does. So again, we start to rally and we take profit, or we smack my target. So that was a nice trade idea. And again, I didn't leave a runner or anything, just because the liquidity hunt model tends to run for a 1 to 3 exactly a lot of the times, and completely smash me out after that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I decided to close my full position after price smashed my target, and I'll pop it up on the screen here, the trade summary for today. And yeah, that was a pretty good trade idea on NFP Friday, but as you can see, price ended up running quite lower. But that's always nice to see, but you can't have that mindset of, oh man, I should have held. But no, you're always going to leave profits on the table. And I watched a video with Charlene FX maybe like a few days ago, and she was mentioning that, like, you're always going to leave profit on the table. You know what I'm saying? So it's best to take those base hits and keep moving, rather than always trying to reach for home runs. But going back to the 15-minute time frame, as you can see, price did come back to that 15-minute level of interest. So price came back down to that 15-minute POI, and which I thought it would, just because, again, we're running another 15-minute high. So now I'm expecting another pullback before the expansion again up to the upside, since I did have a bullish bias initially entering the day. So price ended up breaking that level anyway and shifting back to bearish. So yeah, that was pretty much the trade idea for today, guys. Hopefully this video isn't too long, but even if it is, whoever wants to watch it, they'll kind of get an insight on how I kind of see the market. So boom, we're no longer bullish at this time. Whoa, we ended up breaking the 15-minute swing low, putting in a change of character. So now what I'm expecting or thinking where price is heading was, again, we're still in that session. Price could potentially still be coming for these Asia lows, but obviously the market's closed right now. It's 12 a.m. on a Sunday, but I'm still thinking that price will, or was trying to gravitate towards here. Reasons why it broken the 15-minute low, because Asia lows were still intact. Well, that's just my thesis, at least. What am I looking for? Oh yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much my whole trade idea for the day. Price ran for a nice 1 to 8, but again, you're always going to leave profits on the table, and it's best to not be greedy in these times, because Trump market is still pending, bro. Market still has been moving pretty crazy. But yeah, guys, more videos on the way, man. Again, I'm putting down GJ. I'm focusing only on EU fiber, because I've been getting my ass handed to me left and right trading GJ. But yeah, this is like my first W in like a week. Well, I wouldn't say a week. I took a trade last week that was a winner, but ended up giving those profits back. And, you know, it just happens. But nevertheless, I'm still tinkering with some things as far as my trading psychology goes. And yeah, man, with each day you get better, you know? So, yeah, guys, that's all I got for this Ascension recap. So, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So, you know, stay easy, stay breezy, stay up, keep working hard at your craft, whatever you're doing. And yeah, man, there's hope for you. There's hope for me. So let's just continue to change our lives a day at a time, 1% better. So may we all keep rising, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So peace for now.